Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Care Managers Inner Circle. For those of you who might not know, my name is Jonathan and it's an absolute pleasure to see you here this evening. So how are you all doing? How's your amazing care homes and care businesses how are your gorgeous residents all doing? It's been quite quite a busy old week, actually. There have been changes in terms of PPE, been changes certainly locally in terms of SEFTON with funding. And there's a lot going on. And today we had the heads of department meeting. And you can see the stresses and strains certainly on a number of departments, but they're all doing marvelously well. But great to see you. If you're watching live, let me know in the comments. We can put some of those up. And if you're watching on catch up, just let me know what you're up to and hashtag catch up. It's always good to see you. And welcome once again. It's a lovely place. For those of you who might not know, the Care Manager Inner Circle, now 4 years old, a few weeks ago actually, was it about a week ago, and set up and established to support care managers like you guys out there. No agenda, no commercial. There's no commercial selling, which is lovely. It's just about supporting each other and making sure that we're all there for each other. So don't reinvent the wheel if there's something. And recently I put on a draft letter for those members of staff who haven't been vaccinated. And I've got some great feedback and thank you so much. One thing I'm learning since I've turned 50, actually, it's only taken half a century, is to really listen, and I mean that in terms of genuinely listen. And one thing I realized is certainly the likes of ego is not great. We all have an ego. Ego is very it's about self-protection, and it's the fastest opinion to draw. That's one thing I've learned. Your ego is the first one. It's your emotional side, your brain. It's the first one to move off the starting block. The problem about ego is it's very arrogant. It doesn't listen. It is always right. And there's not room for other people's opinions, and that can be quite a dangerous world, particularly in our social care world, where you really do need consensus. You really do need to be bringing your team with you. You really do need to be listening to those people who have got ideally a different opinion to you, and certainly you don't want to be surrounded by sycophants and other people that will certainly tell you what they think you want to hear, which is a very dangerous world. That's almost like a Trump world, isn't it? And so, and that's one thing which I've learned more and more recently is about really listening, and how susceptible, how vulnerable we are for listening to one side, particularly when it comes to gossip about other members of staff. And you've really got to be very objective about other people's agenda when they're telling you one thing, and certainly you've got to make your own mind up. And so recently, and I just wanted to share with you, particularly for all care managers out there, this little diagram. I've used this diagram before, but it is a fabulous little diagram. And there's my good mate, Mark. Good evening, Mark. I was messaging Mark before to say, come on our show this evening. It'd be good to chat. He's got an amazing show. Let me just do a plug for Mark. So hi Mark. Mark, if you give us your link for he's got a great Facebook group now, and also he broadcasts once a week with some other amazing care managers, and that's what it's all about. And the reason why I think it's fab, and I think Mark's fab, and we all know Mark, he's a superstar, is because people need a voice. And I say this when I show people around, our care home. As Mark saying, yeah, I absolutely love these diagrams. Is we need to have a voice for these people that, as a country and as a society, very culturally, we are very ageist. And some families, you can see, this mum and dad has become an inconvenience. They're very keen to get them into care homes, very keen to let someone else take the problem. And whilst that might initially be judgmental, you can see that. And of course, we'd never express that obviously to them, but you do see it. And so as a society, we don't allow our most vulnerable having contributed all their life, to, and as they come into their sort of final twilight, their autumn of their life, their voice seems to be silenced, and I think that's absolutely tragic. And therefore, Mark's groups like this, where there is open debate. Mark had a fabulous discussion a couple of nights ago, where they're talking about the vaccine. My opinion really changed. I was thinking, right, there's some really good different opinions, and so going into these quite objective and open-mindedly is brilliant. And we need more of that. We need more debate. Because it really does furnish your opinion. Because I've had that conversation with so many members of staff. I've had that conversation with other relatives, and it furnishes you, equips you, it arms you with other people's view on things, and it just feels better. And again, going back to the whole thing of ego, you put your ego into a little box and you just say, right, shut up. There's other people out here who I really want to listen to. So be very conscious of your own ego, and be very conscious that ego, whilst it has a place, is also not great. So let me just, so very, very briefly, and thank you, Mark, for your absolutely love these. We must get, I say, I want to get Mark on. So Heather King, good evening, Heather. Lovely to see you. I love your point. Facebook user, good evening, Facebook user. Now here's our Mark. So here's the link to the next show. Thank you for the shouts. So there you go. So what I'll do, we'll post that out. Or if you post that out as well, Mark, onto the inner circle, and employers, relatives, social workers who look in the care sector to educate and raise the profile. Great. That's what we're all about. And I think Mark does a fabulous job at that. Far better than me with his voting and petitions and some great stuff. I just want to briefly show you this. I'll just take that off there. Hold on, let me just see. There we go. So this could reflect yourself, and I think it's just a good way of just thinking about your own personality, because this is about how your actions, everything's linked, and I always say in life, things happen twice. It happens in your thoughts become your actions. And so for anything to happen in life, a successful business being established, having that argument with your partner, your loved one, it happens twice. It happens first in your head and second in reality. And that's why, be cautious about what thoughts generate. But this is how the flow of life, in terms of flow of personality and flow of people's personality, can show. So first and foremost, you got down here, this is where your values, the environment within which you were brought up, the environment with your own experience. And if you have a positive environment in terms of nurturing, in terms of parenthood, etc., then that will set, this is where your values of life start. This is where your values are embedded, in terms of values for yourself, your people, each other, your relationship with food, your relationship with other people. So all of those sort of things, your work ethic, all comes from here. Your environment, your parenting, your upbringing, and your experiences. And these then turn into, very much the beliefs, your beliefs that you hold, your beliefs in terms of, are you a victim, or is it victim or victor approach? The result of my upbringing is that, my mom always used to say to me, people aren't interested. They're absolutely not interested. If you felt down, or if you felt sorry for yourself, she said, right, well, enjoy a minute of that and then get on with your life. And there was no time for self-remorse or self-reflection or feeling sorry for yourself. There's just absolutely no place for it. There's no place for negativity. And that was drilled into me by my incredibly resilient mum from a very early age. You just get on with life because no one's bothered. It's quite simply, no one's bothered. And of course, yeah, there are people who are bothered. Alfie's just come in. That's Alfie, our dog. So your beliefs are very much set, and they into your beliefs in terms of work ethic, etc. This victim or victor approach in life, and you see very two clear, distinct, and they turn into your thoughts and actions. And your thoughts, which are the branches of the trees, and your actions are the leaves on the trees. And this is a really powerful way considering. And you could also consider this in terms of your own care organization. And this can be because this is how the culture is established, the culture of the actions and behaviors. And I always say that for every action there is a subordinate belief. There's a subordinate belief on why those actions. So for instance, let me just give you that you've got an issue with nutrition and hydration. Well, the underlying belief is that that food is not important, that staff don't recognize the importance of food, or indeed if residents aren't getting up during the day, and that they're being continually left in bed, which is a real big no-no, but this does happen, is that the underlying belief is that staff don't recognize the importance of residents being get up in terms of the health benefits of being up, part of a social environment, and not just leaving them in bed, whilst they might be clean and safe, etc. But there is health associated with being got up and going and moving and placing them into a conservatory, etc. So they're part of the wider home. There is a real belief that, so there's an underlying belief that that's not important. It's not important for those sort of things. And so you start to dig away. And they used to, when it comes to lean or kaizen, which is very much set in the Japanese manufacturing sector, there's a thing called 5 whys, and if things start to go wrong, you have to ask 5 times the reason why. So it's tiers of a cake, or tiers, almost like the tiers of could be the bark of a tree, the different layers, or the layers of an onion, and you keep stripping away. Why was that? Why was it an accident? Why was it a scald? Well, you strip away that because a carer inadvertently scalded a resident. Why was that? Well, there might have been because the tea was served, or the soup was served at too hot a temperature. Why was that? Well, there might be an underlying issue in terms of training. There's lack of training or lack of awareness of the dangers associated with scalds. Why is it? Well, because there's a fundamental issue in terms of management, because they haven't invested enough time in terms of the training of staff and identified previous accidents and incidents. So you never just accept the superficial reason why something happened. You've got to keep stripping away the onion layers. And I just want to share this with you. And some of you might have seen this, but so these are the values. There we go. The values of Birkdale Park. Why do I show you that? Well, first and foremost, I absolutely believe in these. And I didn't establish it because I just thought it might be something fancy I could show CQC if they happen to ask me what your values. It's because we absolutely live and breathe by this. One thing about these values, you don't find anything to do with respect and dignity. Facebook watcher so it says, watching, good seeing you, Jonathan Cuddy. Oh, good to see you. And there we go. There's Cat Paul watching this evening. Oh, thank you, Cat. Good to see you. Good to see you as well. But going back to the values here, we select our staff. Our systems are built in accordance with these. But this is the heartbeat. This is exactly, and the reason why I got them built into the tree, the Birkdale Park tree, is because these are almost like the rings of our organization. One thing you notice about our values, you won't find things like respect or dignity or care featuring, which are absolute buzzwords in any care organization. They seem to write, we need some values, well, we've got to have respect and dignity in there, or independence, and stuff like that. I just think, unless that's absolutely so important to you, and these are the ones. So we've got 5. You could have 10. I'd suggest you probably don't want any more than 6. And so we've got 5. The first one for us is the red one, which is deliberately right at the top of the tree, which is right here, which is love. It's love first and foremost for each other as a team, for love for each other, for love the job we do, and the love for our residents. And they're the big 3. They are absolutely the big 3. Love for each other, love for the job that we do, and the love for our residents. The next one there, and you won't be able to see it, is fun and laughter. And that's fun and laughter for everything we do, because I want our organization to be a fun place to work. I want that. Someone said to me, and it was always described, if you're a a registered manager, then you're the FCO or the CFO. And before I said what the chief financial officer, no, it's the chief fun officer, because you have a duty to create a culture within which everyone can have a laugh. People don't take themselves too seriously. And so let me just take that off there. And sorry, let me take that off there. There we go. And so it's a nice place. It's a warm place to be. Mission team self. Mission team self is important because this shows the priority of their organization. There you go. Let me just show you that there. There you go. Mission team self. First and foremost, our mission is to deliver outstanding care to our residents. That's the mission. Come what may, we have to deliver on that. We've got to keep them safe, and we must deliver exceptional care. The next one then is the team. The team cohesion is absolutely sacrosanct. So that means that you may be the best carer, you may be the best RGN in the world, but if you cannot get on with your team, if you cannot integrate into the team and be a team player, then you have to go. I don't care how fantastic you are or you think you are, you have to go, because I need team players, because having a lone wolf is no good to me. And then the final one there is self. We invest in the individuals within that team, but it's that order. It's mission team self, and it's very militaristic, but it's a fabulous way of considering your organization. And that's why we can't have bitchiness. We can't have little cliques in our organization. We have to nip stuff absolutely in the bud. The next one is the ability to say sorry. We are super transparent. At times, I think we're a bit too much, actually, because I think I over-report, I over-notify, over-report. And, I tell people exactly what's going on. And my mantra for our staff at every level is that if you tell me what's going on, you're, as I say, you're bomb-proof. You've got your Kevlar armored. You're untouchable. You'll never ever lose your job in our organization for making a mistake, and that could be a really serious mistake. You'll never lose your job, but you will lose your job, and I'll hang you out to dry if you ever conceal anything from me. And I've really been tested on that several times, where real serious stuff has gone wrong. You can't run a nursing home with 35 very ill people in that, some of them end of life, and not have serious accidents occasionally. You do, but we're completely open and honest about that. And I always say that we don't get it right all the time. And the final one, you say, thank God for that. The final one is conscience of excellence, because conscience of excellence is this ability that I can't police behind closed doors. I can't see and sit with carers to see the quality of their care. So there you go, folks. Once again, always lovely to see you. Lovely to see Mark. I want to support those guys. I think that, anyone who's got a platform for promoting social care, is a friend in my book, and it's so important. We need more organisation. We need more Mark Tops in the world. Don't worry, there seems to be a one-man Mark Tops fan club, but I think he's doing some amazing stuff, and he's got some great guys and girls there who've got a great chat show. Tune in; it's really good. It's really light-hearted, which is great, and it's very on-Zoom. Which is you see all these Zoom things. It's all very formatted. It's great. So what you're doing is great, Mark. So all of you have a lovely week. It's been a busy old week. Next week is another. I think the sun is shining tomorrow, so get out in it. Get your residents out in it. We've got to get some more hats, some factor 50. And get our gorgeous people out for some vitamin D. Anyway, look after yourselves. Have a lovely evening, and we'll see you very soon from now. Take care.